Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotional. This is the daily grief devotional that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural and normal response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how it is expressed on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. And that's why we say good morning, because morning is a good thing. I want to say good morning and welcome and thank you for joining us on today for yet another grief devotional. This is indeed the day that the Lord has made. He has commanded us to rejoice and to be glad in it. And we are grateful to have this time and this opportunity to come together to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr., senior pastor of the City of Hope Community Church, virtual pastor of Hope Nation, and also your 2023 certified grief coach. And so I'm grateful and thankful for our day, for our time, and the opportunity that God has given us to come together in such a special way. To mourn together, to grow together, to learn together, to heal together, to do all of these wonderful things together. And so thank you for joining us on today on this Tuesday, June the 2nd. Super duper excited about what God is going to do on today. Without further ado, let's get to it, y'all. Today's grief quote comes from Martin Walsh, which says, "When you look for the good in others, you discover the best in yourself." When you look for the good in others, you discover the best in yourself. Today, we're going to talk about interrelating with strangers. Interrelating with strangers. Let's get to it. Our grief makes us appropriately inward focused. Our grief makes us appropriately inward focused, especially in the beginning. But when we start venturing out into the world again, looking for the good in everyone we meet is a practice that connects our personal stories of love and loss to the stories of everyone in humanity. Our grief makes us appropriately inward focused. We turn inward when it comes to our grief, when it comes to what we're dealing with, what we're going through, what we're suffering through, what we're wrestling with. We turn inward, and that's good. That's good. It's not a bad thing. That's good. We turn inward because we're going through the probably the most difficult season in our life, right? But when we start venturing out into the world again, right? Looking for the good in everyone we meet is a practice that connects our personal stories of love and loss to the stories of everyone in humanity. We are all connected. We got something in common. Ain't that what Whitney said? Whitney and Bobby. We all share commonality in both love and loss. And so looking for the good, in other words, in those seasons, we begin to find that. Whenever I meet people, even in quick transactions, such as checking out groceries, I try to look them in the eye, smile, and really acknowledge them. I slow down and open myself to their unique individuality. If we have a brief conversation, I try to be genuinely curious as well as forthcoming. I also try to assume the best of them without and withhold judgment. Whenever I meet people, I'm gonna read it again. Even in quick transactions such as checking out groceries, I try to look them in the eye, smile, and really acknowledge them. I've told this story before, y'all. I try to be very intentional with that as well. That I always preach and tell people to be present when you're present. Right? Don't be present absent, like you're here, but your mind is somewhere else. No, be present when you're present. When I'm with my wife, let's be present when we're present. When I'm with my children, be present when you're present. I don't want to be present, but be preoccupied with so many other things that they fail to really get, the fullness of my attention, right? So even at the grocery store, I remember going to the grocery store, and I go to the grocery store a lot. It's right up the street, and I just love, fresh produce, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. Always going there to get lemons and limes, and because I use so many of them, ginger and turmeric and all of these things. And so, I believe in community too. So I love community. I love shopping in the community that I live, where my church is. I love establishing relationships. I want to know names. It's about community, right? Because I'm gonna be here a lot, and I want us to see each other and be like, "Hey, Bill, how you doing? Hey, Susie, how's it going? Hey, Shaquanda, what's happening, girl?" Right? I love community, but I remember this one particular time the cashier said, "Hey, how you doing today?" All right. And she says, "Not so good." And I said, "Not so good?" Pause for the cause. I'm not bagging groceries. I'm giving her my attention. I'm like, come on. I said, don't conceal, reveal, right? I said, don't suppress it, express it. What's going on, right? I'm pausing. I'm stopping. I'm looking at her eye intently. What's going on? What's happening? She began to tell me whatever was going on, and I just paused for the cause and took the time to encourage her in that moment, right? To really encourage her, speak life to her, um, just be to be the light of the world, the salt of the earth, the ambassadors of Christ, the voice and the feet of Jesus in the midst of that moment, right? To really pause for the cause and to acknowledge her, to really pause for the cause, to acknowledge, to give her a safe place and safe space, even though she didn't know me, to give her a safe place and safe space and the opportunity to articulate her feelings, an opportunity to express herself, an opportunity that she didn't have to hold it in. She didn't have to conceal it, but you can reveal how you feel, right? 90% of the time, revealing is going to make you feel better. And so, whenever I meet people, even in quick transactions, such as checking out the grocery store, I look them in the eye, smile, really acknowledge them. I slow down, open myself to their unique individuality. Slow down to open myself up to their unique individuality, right? If we have a brief conversation, I try to be genuinely curious as well as forthcoming. I also try to assume the best of them and withhold judgment. That's one thing people always say they love when they talk to me and this, that, and the other. It's a no judgment zone, right? Come on in, express how you feel, whatever it is, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through. It's a no judgment zone, right? They need that safety and security. They need that opportunity to be able to express whatever they're feeling, without being judged, condemned, and all of these other things. This open, non judgmental way of interrelating with strangers and acquaintances too acknowledge our shared humanity. It activates mutual empathy and releases endorphins. It takes practice, especially for introverts, but it's a ritual that can become a habit. And once ingrained, can transform our experience of life. Interrelating with strangers. I seen a TikTok the other day. It was yesterday, and the guy was talking about he was a door dasher, and he was running an order. It was a KFC order for a young lady who she was out of town and ordered it, and he went into the KFC and they didn't have any soda. He's like, you don't hear of a restaurant running out of soda. So he contacted her and said, "Hey, this is DoorDash. I'm delivering this food, but they don't have any soda. And so what would you like for me to do?" And she said, "Oh, don't worry about it. The food is the most important thing. The food is for my mother, and she's battling cancer right now, and she's just really hungry, and I'm out of state. So if you can just please get her the food." And so the man, I mean, he was, it pulled on his heartstrings, and because his mother battled cancer. Matter of fact, his mother died of cancer when he was locked up. Right, his name was Jalen. I think his name was Jalen, and his mother died of cancer when he was locked up. So he was already like, oh my God, he was interrelating with this stranger. And so his heart went out to her because he was in a similar situation. It got even deeper when she said she was out of state and she had a brother named Jalen too, who was currently locked up. And so I don't know if he took care of them. I don't know. I don't know all the details. But she had a brother named Jalen that was currently locked up, and their mother is battling cancer. The door dasher, his name was Jalen. He was locked up, and his mother died when he was in jail and couldn't get the opportunity to go, all of that stuff. And so his heart went out. He said, "Ma'am, I'm a stop by the store. I'm gonna get your mom a case of whatever she needs to drink. I got you, and it's no charge. It's on me." And this story just really touched me and blessed me because here he is interrelating with this stranger, right? Don't know him, but they share this commonality, right? Because all of us, we share a commonality with love and loss. And it's just the nature of our humanity. So we share this commonality. We interrelate with one another. And even on our grief journey, that's what happens. That's what takes place. And so we have to be mindful of that as we navigate through our journeys and we start to interrelate with other people. It is so very important for us to be mindful of that. Understand that it takes mutual empathy and releases endorphins as we acknowledge and share humanity. It takes practice, especially for introverts, but it's a ritual that can become a habit. And once ingrained, can transform our experience of life. Here's the thought of the day: I will acknowledge others and look for the unique and the good in them. I will acknowledge others, look for the unique and the good in them. Today is day 171, interrelating with strangers. I hope you got this lesson. I hope it was good. I just want you to know that when it comes to love and loss, all of us, we have this in common, right? We have this in common. There's a saying that says, be kind, to everybody. You don't know what a person is going through. And that statement is so true. You don't know what a person is going through. You don't know what a person is dealing with. And perhaps even in the loss of your loved one, you've had experiences when you were out shopping for perhaps their clothes for the funeral, or if you were out buying things during that week and you can just remember, people who may not have known maybe how they treated you or how they dealt with you or your interaction with people. When people find out, they typically have sympathy and empathy and all that stuff. But for the people that don't know, right? And so that's why it's good to not be rude, but to be loving, to be kind, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are dealing with. People are on the verge, they're on the edge of breakdown. They're carrying this great weight, this great burden. They have this grief. They're dealing with all of this internally. And so it's so very important to be kind, right? When it comes to love and loss, we all have this in common. And so it's good for us to practice our interrelating with others. Amen. Questions, comments, questions, comments. Y'all typically don't have none. Questions, comments, questions, comments. I hope you got it. I hope this lesson was a blessing to you. Y'all hang in there. Today is day 171. You have received 171 grief devotionals, and I hope in some type of way it has blessed you. It has helped you. It has strengthened you and empowered you and enabled you to navigate through this thing called grief in a more successful way. But just know we here. We 365. We are down like 4 flat tires, right? We gonna be here, and I'm excited about our journey together. So God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all with the love of the Lord. I hope and pray you have a terrific Tuesday. Good morning.
Uh, uh. Good morning.